Today's Q&A. I'm Dr. Janine. Great to have you here. Please say hello and where you're from and where you're watching from today. I'm always curious. We always have people from all over the world, which is amazing. And if you've just happened to tune in for the first time today, well, welcome. And I'll be answering questions. So, of course, yesterday we had the Dr. Janine Show, and today is sort of like the follow-up. I can't always get to everybody's questions during the live show, so we use the Wednesdays at 1 p.m. at this time to answer questions. So hello. Great to have you here. Thanks for tuning in. Heidi, Zanzoon, Alarna, hello. It's Verma, Sweet Tangi, hello. Nice to have you here. Handsome Messagy, I think Nancy as well. Alina, thank you for tuning in. Great to have you here. And okay, so some questions about skin and what are some healthy fruits to help with your skin. I actually did a video on this, so you can search up that post. And I talked a lot about avocado, which is a fruit amazing for your skin because, of course, it has healthy fats, but it also has natural vitamin E, which we know from the inside out is amazing. Hello, Raj, the pharmacist. Great to have you here. Thank you for tuning in. And yeah, so yesterday during the show, if you do have questions, make sure you're putting them in the comment section. We talked a little bit about some of these bad guys. We talked about what we can do to get rid of some of these things that could be in our microbiome. And I went through my entire protocol. And I know that somebody at the end of yesterday's show had a question about, and we'll show you again, that entire protocol as to how to kill off these bad guys. Okay, so that is coming up in just a second. I know, as much as we don't want to think that we have these things in our gut, in our digestive tract, they are there. And that's why by doing regular parasite cleansing, I like to do it once per quarter, so 4 times a year. I find it really efficacious at keeping your microbiome healthy, helps your immune system as well, helps to balance hormones. I mean, there's so many different reasons why you want to do a microbiome cleanse to keep your gut healthy. We also talked a little bit about some scary stuff that can be found in your supplements yesterday. We talked about E551, also known as silicone dioxide, okay? So these little packets, often this is actually not the packet, this is actually powdered down, and I can show you that in just a bit. It's powdered down, the contents of this, and it can be found in your supplements, in your beauty products as well. Scary stuff. I believe in the next few years they'll actually ban it like they did sort of its evil twin cousin, the titanium dioxide, which has now been banned in Europe, but still available here in supplements. Natulicious in the Maldives. Hello, nice to have you here. Thanks for tuning in. Brenda as well, great to have you here. Guzel, thank you in the Netherlands for tuning in. S Dreading One. Sheila in California, great to have you here. Daniel in Miami, hello. And Marina, thanks for the follow. So anybody who is new here for the first time, make sure you hit that follow button, that you are subscribed. And maybe we'll go a little bit through the parasite cleansing protocol. Should we start there? Yeah, because these guys, it's important. And when we talk about having that healthy microbiome, so important for our digestive health. But remember, over 80% of our immunity comes from having a healthy gut. This is my protocol. I developed it years ago, have had so much great success with it in terms of killing off those bad guys. So what do? We start the first couple weeks is the kill phase, okay? And this is when we're using the herbal medicines that I prefer in combination. I have called it CABO, C-A-B-O, cloves, artemisia, black walnut, and oregano. We can show you that combination. You can screenshot all of these things just because I know I talk quick, but this is my combination that I love, okay? And have had so much success with all different types of parasites, candida issues as well. So when we talk about what the different parasites potentially are in your system and not just in your gut, I mean, they can be in your blood, in your liver, in the brain. Candida, big issue for a lot of people, okay? And these herbal medicines have been proven to be very efficacious against, killing off the candida, okay? So cloves, artemisia, black walnut, and oregano in combination at the right milligram amounts, that is your kill phase, okay? So going back to that protocol, that's your first 2 weeks, you're taking that combo. Then you're getting to week 3 and 4, and this is when you stop. I don't know if I said this yesterday. You stop doing the cabo for 2 weeks, this is when you start your full body detox. And that's another group of herbal medicines that I love and again have had a lot of success with over the years with my patients. Now that detox is a full body detox, so it's addressing all of the organs at once. So it is a lung cleanse, it is a liver cleanse, it is also a digestive cleanse. Well, I'll show you those herbs in just a second, as well as a skin cleanse. It helps with lymphatics and blood as well. So blood cleansing herbal medicines, full body detox. Okay, here's the herbs, and this, again, you can screenshot this. Dandelion, burdock, chlorella, which helps to trap heavy metal toxins as well. Milk thistle, horsetail parsley, cascara, and bearberry. Dandelion, should I go through why? Okay, give me a thumbs up if you want me to go through why some of these herbal medicines are my favorite, like what they're targeting. Just give me a thumbs up and I can go through them. If not, we can move on. Any thumbs up? I'm gonna wait for the commenting for just a second. All right, and what we're talking about is getting rid of, you know, the bad guys. I know a question coming in, how to get rid of fungus using topical medication. It always comes back. Yeah, you've got to treat it from the inside out. Often fungal issues, if it's on the skin, on the scalp. We talked about dandruff yesterday, and I shared my, okay, I'm gonna go through that. Thank you for the thumbs up. A lot of people want me to go through it. Okay, we'll go through it. So yeah, so when we're dealing with chronic fungal issues, we've got to cleanse from the inside out. And that's why this entire protocol would be something that is fantastic. So the cabo to kill off the fungus, the yeast, the bad bugs and everything else, but the full body detox. So the second part of the protocol here with the herbal medicines, which I'll go through now, what that's doing, it's addressing the toxins that are given off by the fungus. Candida, for instance, can give off over 60 different toxins, okay? So that's something that often people, when they've done a parasite type of cleanse or a microbiome cleanse, you don't feel well. And that's often because you haven't addressed that extra toxicity now that by killing off those bad organisms that your body has to deal with. So that's why I like these herbs. Okay, so this is your full body detox. Dandelion, so the root is great for your liver. The leaves are great for the kidneys, all right? So a little bit different in terms of how they work physiologically in your body. Burdock helps to cleanse the blood, but also the lungs. So I think of one of my patients years back who had a chronic lung issue and, you know, a cough, and, you know, every end of January, beginning of February, he would get, you know, COPD, and that would act up and he'd need to be on the oxygen, and this was a chronic thing. So what happened was we started to talk, and I was actually speaking with his wife because, you know, guys don't always want to go to the doctor and, you know, deal with their symptoms head on, right? So it's often, you know, the wife or their partners that we are having conversations with. So anyways, was talking to the wife and said, hey, you know, doing a full body detox, and I knew in this formulation that the burdock was very specific for cleansing out the lungs in combination, because here's the thing, if you're not doing the right combination of herbs for your detox, you could be pushing your toxins from one toxic organ to another. And this is often why people even feel sick when they're doing cleanses or detoxes. So he did the protocol. Sure enough, she said, and it wasn't his bad time of year, right? So it was, I think it was in May or June. It wasn't his bad time of year, typically when he had exacerbated symptoms of his cough and what have you, and a lot of mucus and difficulty breathing, lack of oxygenation. So it wasn't his bad time of year. Sure enough, she said, well, guess what? My husband started to cough a little bit when he started taking the detox. I'm like, yes, because they were worried. They didn't like, okay, this is getting worse. It's not doing what it's supposed to do. I said, yes, that is amazing, because now the body, and especially the lungs, are getting more efficient at moving out that mucus and whatever toxins were stored. Sure enough, you know, a few months fast forward, his problem with his lungs never came back because he addressed it in the right way from the root cause, getting those toxins out, getting those organs more efficient at moving those toxins, and he was so much better. So that's just an example of, you know, the burdock as one of the herbal medicines, but in combination with the chlorella, which will help to trap those heavy metal toxins, things like mercury, aluminum, which we know that we're exposed to. Milk thistle, really interesting. If you look at the research on this, the silymarin, which is the active component of the milk thistle, is great for liver. So liver detox, but can also help to regenerate healthy liver cells. And now they've actually discovered that you can regenerate healthy kidney cells as well. So there is something called kidney regeneration. It's possible, and milk thistle has shown some efficacy here, so that's really important. Horsetail, it's a diuretic, so it's like a natural water pill, so great for the kidneys, helps with kidney detox, naturally contains silica, which is great for your hair, skin, and nails. Parsley, which is great as a diuretic as well, great for your kidneys, has the chlorophyll, which much like the chlorella is going to trap heavy metal toxins. Cascara gently gets things moving for the digestive tract, so for chronic constipation, but in the right dosage, and that's the important thing, right? You don't want to take too much Cascara sagrada because it's going to be, too forceful in terms of moving those bowels, but in the right dosage can be really effective at just really detoxing in that regard for the GI tract. And bearberry is a blood cleanser, helps with your lymphatics as well, also great for the kidneys, helps with kidney stones, so for people that are prone to kidney stones. So again, it's all about that combination, which makes all the difference. All right, so more questions coming in hard and fast. Hello. It's great to see you. Psoriasis sufferer. Yes, so this protocol is what I often have used with psoriasis patients. So you got to get rid of the bad bugs. Often with psoriasis, there can be a bit of a fungal component, also some of the less favorable organisms on the actual skin. It is autoimmune, so we have to address a leaky gut as well. Where do I start with people with leaky gut issues is usually that protocol with leaky gut. It's often the parasites, the bad bugs as well. So starting with the parasite cleansing herbal medicines, the Cabo, and then going to the full body detox, that's a great way to do it. Sandeep, thank you for tuning in from the desert. Well, thanks for tuning in. I'm glad that you're here today. And okay, do we do these as tinctures? So when we talk about the herbal medicine, it is encapsulated. So they're freeze-dried herbal medicines at a certain potency in a capsule. And my team can help to, for people with specific questions about the actual formulations. Ringing in the ears. Deborah, great question. One of the things you can consider, and I mean, you have to sort of determine why you have the tinnitus, the ringing in the ears, but often it can be related to blood pressure, so addressing that. It can be related to, damage from, when you were younger, loud noises and things. It can also be a lack of melanin. I actually wrote about it in my new book, and that having enough of sunlight exposure actually affects the melanin, which you need to have in terms of keeping your ears healthy and for tinnitus as well, so which is interesting. So yeah, if you're never out in the sun, that can actually make your tinnitus worse. Yes, so maybe something that you haven't heard before. All right, psoriasis sufferer, yes, so I hope my team will help to give you some of the links there that you're looking for. And okay, so a lot of people have ringing in the ears. I believe I do have some videos on that. Vitamin B12 deficiency is common as well for ringing and chronic ringing in the ears. So that's something that you can definitely address as well. And okay, what are parsley? Okay, so back to this chart on the herbal medicines for the full body detox. So parsley, the other one please, for the detox. Yes, so parsley is great for your kidneys. It's a diuretic. It also has chlorophyll because it's green. So anything that's really green, but parsley especially, something to add to your salads as well, to your meals, helps to freshen your breath. But parsley is great for your kidney health. And it works like a water pill. So if you tend to have edema and swelling because your kidneys are a little bit sluggish, the parsley is going to be great for that. The chlorophyll is going to help to trap those heavy metal toxins, things like mercury, aluminum. And the horsetail is also great. It has naturally occurring silica, which is great for healthy hair, skin, and nails. But also the horsetail is a gentle diuretic. It can help with kidney stones, as with the bearberry as well. So horsetail is a great, herbal medicine for kidney health. All right, I hope that helps. Jules is asking sciatica or chronic pain. And what can help? Okay, so we actually talked about sciatica yesterday. So let's go through the tips. If you missed them yesterday, if you missed yesterday's show, thank you, Angela, for the follow. Great to have you here for the first time. Let's go on over here and let's go through the I saw a question, is bearberry good for gut issues? Tony, bearberry, yeah, I know that it's spell corrected for you. Bearberry might be good too, but bearberry, yes, it can be helpful for gut issues. It's usually known as a kidney helping herbal medicine, but definitely good. All right, so here we go. Tips for sciatica, something that we talked about yesterday. So again, your vitamin B12 levels, really important. Remember, if you are going to take a B12 supplement, that it's not the cyanocobalamin, okay? So cyanide in there. I promised I would spell that out for you, so we're gonna come over to the board in just a second and I'll spell out the cyanocobalamin, the type of B12 that you should not be taking, all right? But you wanna look for a high quality, and I'll tell you the type that I like in terms of a B12 supplement. So improving your B12 levels, and the reason for that is that it protects the outer coating, the myelin coating of your nerves. So that's why we need to have enough vitamin B12. Okay, foot mobility, really important, is to make sure your feet are healthy and you've got that mobility. Everything starts from the ground up in terms of all the mobility in all your major joints. So you want to maintain that foot mobility. So barefoot shoes, really important whenever you can be barefoot. That's what you want to do, okay? Nerve flossing was a little exercise that I showed yesterday, so you can reference yesterday's video if you missed it, and just watch the whole show because we went through a bunch of different topics if you missed yesterday's live show, and I showed you the exercise for the nerve flossing. Also the piriformis stretch, which is the figure 4. So you basically hook, I can't do it, I have a skirt on, but you hook your leg over the other side and you stretch this way. Amazing, you can do that lying on your back. Just putting your leg like a number 4. Always keep your foot flexed though, and that will protect your knee. So that piriformis stretch is amazing, the figure 4. Glute bridges, okay, so doing exercises to strengthen your buttocks, the gluteus muscles, really, really important for sciatica, as well as anti-inflammatory effects of curcumin. And there was a study, and they actually, we talked about the poor little rats yesterday in this study, that they damaged their sciatic nerves, and of course the researchers were looking, okay, will the natural component, the active component, which is the curcumin from turmeric, will it actually help? And of course it did. So what it did was it reduced the Schwann cell apoptosis and promoted the myelinization. So what does that mean? That means, much like vitamin B12, the curcumin was helping to remyelinate and to actually heal the damaged sciatic nerve in the rats. So is that translatable into humans? We'll never know for sure because obviously they can't cut sciatic nerves in humans. However, maybe we can extrapolate the fact that, yeah, the curcumin is very, very powerful for your nervous system. So not just for sciatica, so for anybody who has neuropathies, neuralgias, any type of nerve issues, pains, this can be really, really helpful for you as well. All right, so let's talk about B12. All right, so how many people take vitamin B12 either in their multivitamin? Put a 1 in the comments if you take B12. That can be in your multivitamin, you take a B12 supplement, you take a B complex, you take a stress vitamin. Carrie takes B12. Okay, who else? Thank you for tuning in, DDD. Yeah, I love all the love coming in. That's so kind of you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And Rohini, oh, you're so kind. Thank you. Okay, a lot of people take B12. I see that. Oh my goodness. Caitlin, Rani, Scorpion, Grant, Diane, Barb Swan, 829, Carrie, Deuce, Louise, Schultz, Daniel, Izzy, Agavni, Glamup, Alarna. Okay, so Whitehill, you have a separate B complex. Bragger 3, okay, Juan, Izella, Tony DeMarco, Deborah. All right. Anne, Sunil, Jerry. Okay, it seems like everybody's taking vitamin B12. Okay, so this is what you want to look out for, all right? So amongst other things, one of the things, of course, is make sure that your vitamins and supplements do not have silicone dioxide in the non-medicinal ingredients, because we talked about all of the negative effects of this yesterday, some scary stuff, all right? And we can revisit that. If you missed it, I can just let me know, okay? Just put silica or silicone dioxide in the comments, and I'll come back to it and we'll go through that chart. But okay, so vitamin B12, and did you know that sunlight is important. So when we talk about sunlight and sunlight exposure, we know that vitamin D is the big one that we always hear about, but B12 is really connected to sunlight exposure as well. So a lot of people have a B12 deficiency because of lack of getting enough sunlight. Okay, so B12, the one to avoid is called can't spell today, cyanocobalamin, big word, okay? Cyanocobalamin. It has cyanide, okay? Cyanide. It's a very inexpensive way to actually complex the vitamin B12, but your body, as it's breaking down, so imagine this is your cyanocobalamin, as your body is breaking this down, it's releasing small little bits of cyanide in your body, and it does it through at least 4 different detox or breakdown steps. Okay, little bits of cyanide going to your body. Not maybe the best type. And often people that get B12 injections, this is the type of B12 that it is. So for all those people who put 1 in the comments, make sure, please, that you're checking the type of B12 that you're taking. Now, another concern with the cyanocobalamin is that if you have methylation issues, so I know a lot of people have had some blood work done, some genetic testing, and it's been discovered that you have either MTHFR, you have methylation issues. This type is really going to be toxic for you, especially if you have methylation issues in terms of your detox pathways, okay? So definitely you don't want to be taking cyanocobalamin. And what often you'll be told is that you should take a methylcobalamin, okay? So methylcobalamin is naturally occurring and better, but I actually prefer another type, and that's adenosine. And so okay, excuse my adenosylcobalamin, okay? In a whole food complex, so I like it when it has something like chlorella. So this combination now, chlorella is gonna give us the accessory nutrients for that B12 absorption, so your B vitamins, so B1, B2, B3, B6, all your Bs, and it's naturally occurring in the chlorella. The adenosylcobalamin is actually fermented, and it bypasses the need for something called intrinsic factor in the stomach. All right, so I don't know if I've talked about this before. Maybe can we bring, okay, let me go over to Lucy, so stick with me. We're gonna run over here for, well, not run, but here we go with normal B12 ingestion and absorption. There needs to be something called, this is the stomach, there needs to be something called intrinsic factor in the stomach. It's like a protein in the stomach. It helps with the proper absorption of your B12 into the bloodstream. Now, if you're lacking intrinsic factor, and some people do have a condition called pernicious anemia, and maybe you've been diagnosed with this, and this means that you won't naturally absorb your B12 properly. So we'll go back over here now. So this is one of the reasons why I prefer the adenosylcobalamin, because as we age, we're lacking more and more of that intrinsic factor. So that's something that, yeah, you're always sort of this uphill balance or battle in terms of being able to get enough B12 that's properly absorbed. Even if you are getting some, you know, in your grass-fed, hopefully, animal products, if you're not a vegetarian, and in seafood you may get some B12, but it can be difficult, especially if you're not getting enough sunlight exposure, okay? So I prefer the adenosylcobalamin in a complex with the chlorella, and that is going to go right into the mitochondria to help with that energy production. That's why vitamin B12, when you're deficient, you tend to be very low in your energy levels. And the great thing as well, so people who are asking, Adriana, you're asking about the methylcobalamin, is that the chlorella naturally has both types, the adenosylcobalamin and the methylcobalamin. So they're naturally occurring in the chlorella. So that's why I kind of like that complex, especially for people who have issues. Okay, Hatim is asking, deficiency of B12 can affect your concentration levels and cause confusion, which is really important. DDD says your B12 and your number 3 crown. So thank you for that as well. well as Tony is number 2 crown, and YLD is number 1 crown. So thank you for all of your support of my channel. This is amazing. I was able to call you out today. That's actually a new sort of emoji, that thing that they're showing me on that platform, that I can call out my top people. So thank you. Ileana, thank you for sending some love and some gifts there. I appreciate you and all the hearts coming in. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Mia, hello. Nice to have you here. All right, so what was I saying? Sorry, there was another question and I got sidetracked with all the love coming in. Can you scroll down on this one a little bit? I don't know if you can do that. So, okay, no, I was going to say DDD, your B12 has the cyano and the methyl, so you might want to reconsider taking the cyanocobalamin and look for a better one. Mado was asking, what is the best vitamin for dandruff? Well, actually, we talked a little bit about dandruff yesterday. Can we go over here really quickly? And we mixed up actually a topical remedy that you can make. So if you missed it yesterday, we talked about the fact that this can be part of a fungal issue on the skin and on the scalp, and it is the Pityrosporum form of a fungus, and that the Malassezia is the specific fungus that can cause the dandruff. So one of my tips was that you never should go to bed with wet hair. So if you wash and you do your hair before bedtime, or you're sweaty, or for whatever reason, you definitely do not want to have your hair wet as you're going to bed. That's really, really important. So use a blow dryer, do whatever you can to dry your scalp so that you have a dry scalp on going to bed. And yesterday we mixed up a natural way to deal with the dandruff. So here we go. It involves castor oil and lemongrass essential oil. Now this is amazing because it has an antifungal effect. It smells really good even after you wash it off. So you're going to mix 10 drops of the lemongrass essential oil with 2 tablespoons. Can we pull up the recipe really quickly so you can screenshot it? 2 tablespoons of the castor oil. And that will help with killing off some of that bad fungus, the Malassezia. But that castor oil is also very antifungal. You're going to put it on at bedtime, and then you're going to shampoo it out of your hair in the morning. And then it leaves a little bit of a sort of a lemony scent from the lemongrass essential oil. Usually you only need to do this once. And I'm telling you, I have seen this work so amazing. Then in between your, if you ever would need to do it again, if it starts to creep back again, if you haven't been using your blow dryer to actually dry your scalp properly at bedtime, then you can try it again. But you may only need to do this once every couple months with the actual mixing of the castor oil with the lemongrass. Okay, so that's going to be really helpful. And of course, doing the whole, if it's a chronic issue, doing the whole parasite cleansing protocol. If you have chronic fungal issues, dandruff issues, a lot of gas and bloating, then that parasite protocol, which we can bring up in a second as well, can be really helpful. Okay, so anti-dandruff hair oil, there you go. 2 tablespoons of castor oil, 10 drops of the lemongrass, and you're just going to mix the castor oil with your lemongrass essential oil. Apply it to the scalp before bed. You probably, depending on the length of your hair, you want to maybe wrap your hair in a towel or something, because the castor oil is quite sticky, as if you've experienced it before. And then in the morning, you're going to shampoo it out. And yeah, that is amazing for dandruff. So I hope you try that for people that are suffering. Share this with your friends. I hope that you screenshotted that so that you've got it. And thanks for tuning in today. It's so great to have you here. All right, Maria, cramps, leg cramping at night. Yeah, so your whole balance between your vitamin D, your magnesium, your calcium, and your vitamin K2. So I actually prefer magnesium in the morning, and your vitamin D3, of course, from natural sunlight exposure. If you supplement, you can take it with your magnesium in the morning, and then your vitamin K2 and your whole food calcium closer to bedtime, and that really can help with leg cramps. Zinc deficiency can be related to leg cramps as well. So that could be something that is related beyond just the B12 and the magnesium that you're taking. Also, the magnesium that you're taking is not a muscle relaxant as as effective as the magnesium bisglycinate. So maybe I should write that out really quickly. My favorite type of magnesium for any type of cramping, eye twitches, any type of twitches, cramping, is for cardiac issues as well, normal beating of the heart, for metabolism. And I've said this before, I think probably the last time that we had a live a couple weeks ago, magnesium bisglycinate. So magnesium, I feel like I'm in school again. I have to say it out to spell it properly. Magnesium bisglycinate, that's my favorite type of magnesium to take, especially for cramping. Really important. Menstrual cramps as well, that's really, really important. Joanne, I'm glad that you were able to make it to the live. Well, thanks for coming in today. It's great to have you here. And yeah, some of the supplements that are out there, just be very aware. One of the things, if you missed yesterday's show, make sure it doesn't have any fillers or flow agents. Magnesium stearate is one. Silicone dioxide is a big one. It's called E551. Let's look again, let's review really quickly why you want to avoid this in your supplements. If we look at some of what was found in terms of the scariness, let's say, of the silicone dioxide E551. It is an anti-caking agent. They use it to fill up and to dry out capsule encapsulated formulations for vitamins and for supplements. It can be in baby food. It can be in spices a lot of times. It can actually be in things like soup mixes, processed foods, instant coffees. And of course in your supplements. You want to watch out for this, okay? It's not going to look like this. It's going to be powdered down like this. You don't even know unless you check your vitamin and supplement labels. You don't know that it's in there. It may say silicone dioxide. It may say E551. Remember, that was one of our quiz questions yesterday. E551, okay, silicone dioxide. And when they've looked at some of the research, there's questionable safety. I believe in the next few years, I'm hoping that they're going to mandate that it comes out of foods and supplements because of some of the concerns related to that silicone dioxide, which of course we talked about yesterday. So if you missed yesterday's show, make sure you check it out because you can still watch it. Of course, any of the shows or the Q&As that you've missed, then you can check them out. And there's definitely a correlation with the silicone dioxide with celiac disease and leaky gut syndrome even. So like opening up those tight junctions in the gut and causing leaky gut and a lot of digestive complaints. So celiacs, in terms of the study that we talked about yesterday, were actually warned to avoid the silicone dioxide, which is in a lot of gluten-free foods, which is the next level of crazy, right? So you gotta do your research. And that's why I'm here. That's why I do a lot of research, as you can see. And that's why I like to share what I've learned and what I research. And that's why, of course, I wrote my third book, which we have very soon. All right, so another question. D3 and K2 are in the same supplement. I do not like that combination, okay? And I know most supplements out there for D3 and K2, they're always combined together. I prefer that they're actually separated. What it can do is cause hypercalcemia, so too much calcium in the blood by taking your D3 and your K2 together. D3, I prefer in the morning if you do need to take it, especially if you're not getting sunlight exposure. K2, I prefer with a whole food calcium closer to bedtime. And there's other reasons for that, something that I've talked about before. And I know my team is helping to answer that as well. So thank you. Okay, Celicia is asking, can you rub castor or black seed oil on the thyroid for possible thyroid inflammation, hypothyroidism, throat discomfort, nodules? Black seed oil, potentially. I'm not sure. I haven't looked at any evidence on using that or safety in terms of the thyroid. But castor oil for sure can be rubbed directly on any type of nodule inflammatory response that's happening. So that would be something that I would say yes to the castor oil. Always check with your doctor, of course. And I do have a lot of tips for hypothyroidism. So if you're new here, Celicia, make sure you check out, just search on, the different platforms. Just look up low thyroid, hypothyroid, Dr. Janine, and you're going to find a lot of information about, what you can do for supporting your thyroid. There are specific nutrients that you need to make sure that your thyroid is optimized, even if you are taking medication for the low thyroid as well, even more so if you're on the medication to help to support your thyroid. So that's something that I take every night at bedtime to support my thyroid. And really, really helpful, and of course, all natural. Okay, what can you do? This is a great question. To help for better concentration at school for children around 10 to 12 years. Omega-3s, DHA, so a high quality fish oil supplement without fillers, without flow agents, something that's easy for them to take. The one I give my kids is chewable, super highly concentrated in the DHA, which as humans we tend to be more deficient in. It makes all the world of difference in terms of that focus in school for kids. For adults as well, I took mine just before I came to do the live today. I take it every day, love it. I always take it with my eye formula and that supplement as well to support my vision. Okay, so thank you so much. I know there's a few more questions and maybe you can put them in the comment section of some of my videos. So hopefully we get to all your questions. I do have to run now. It was so great to have you here. My next live show. So make sure you tune in on Tuesday, August the 5th at 11 a.m. for the Dr. Janine Show. That's when we're going to be live again. And check out all my content in the meantime. It was such a great Q&A today. So many good questions coming in. So thank you so much for tuning in. And we'll see you on August the 5th. We'll see you then. Have a great day, everyone. Bye.